Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shop Talk Park Slope. I'm Nikki Thomas, licensed associate real estate broker with the Corcoran Group. And today we have the owner of Slope Vintage, Elizabeth Murphy. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining me because I know you're busy, busy, busy. When you're running a business, there's moving parts.
There it is. Very dull moment, that's for sure.
All right. So tell us, so a number of people will probably guess the nature of your business from the name, either because they've heard it before or because it has the, term vintage in it. But can you tell us what Slope Vintage has to offer?
Slope Vintage is a secondhand vintage shop. We have everything from current Zara jeans all the way to a pair of Versace or Levi's jeans from the 60s, anywhere from $1 up to $200. And this store has been operating for 11 years now.
That is quite a feat for 11 years, because first of all, it's hard enough to make it to that first year, and then to make it to 5 years, and then to actually be there for over 10 years. Yeah. So actually, speaking of which, that actually kind of leads into related to my next question actually is that it's been in the neighborhood for a long time, and you folks have undergone your own kind of metamorphoses over that time. So can you kind of tell us, especially over the last couple of years, the ways in which the store has changed?
Yeah. Well, I can't take all the credit. My husband, who is also one of the owners, he has been doing this for 25 years throughout New York City, over 10 stores.
Okay.
He is the one with the passion for fashion, and I am the one with the passion for people. So it was a duo, met in heaven, whatever you want to call it, match made in heaven. Fashion. That being said, COVID really did change everything. We used to do buy, sell, trade, where we would take items from the local community and credit, and they can trade and shop. In order to control that and to control the safety features during COVID, we actually decided to stop doing buy, sell, trade and pivot towards just buying from selected wholesalers, which actually helped us control inventory a lot better. So we actually kept that rule of thumb, which, a lot of our competitors still do, but hey, why not be different? During COVID, obviously, we did have to shut for about 4 months, give or take. Then we were on reduced hours, dressing rooms limited to no dressing rooms. And it was a lot of a learning curve, handling all of those things. But the Fifth Avenue Bid Association was phenomenal on keeping all of the businesses in Park Slope up to date on rules, regulations, current loans, and, things that the city was doing to benefit the community. So that was really helpful. We were able to bring back our staff, and they've been really great. They rolled with the punches because they know, it wasn't just us making up crazy rules. It was, we were going with the government. And yeah, it's just been, every day it's a new experience because you never know, what person is going to come in and say, I really love this top, but I'm going to shred it and redo it. Can you give me a better deal too?
Oh, interesting.
I'm coming in for my daughter's, Sweet 16 or quinceañera, and she really has XYZ idea in her mind. And we found 3 dresses, but we want to combine them into one. Do you have anybody that does that? And we work with seamstress, a bunch of artists and designers who were like, hey, XYZ person, they can recreate this dress for you. So it's always really nice putting 2 and 2 together for people.
That's interesting because I didn't realize that was an aspect of what you folks were doing, right? So first of all, never occurred to me that, and I mean, it's kind of like, I should have known better, especially being a real estate agent, because I negotiate for a living. It didn't occur to me that some dead people would come in and potentially negotiate with you over the prices. That's interesting. And then also kind of actually being a resource for people who want to think outside of the box in terms of, wanting to do their own thing with their clothes and be creative and everything else. I kind of even though I'm well aware, I have lots of friends who actually, they shop secondhand and they will and they will really make something into their own. They like for it to, it's their baseline piece, but it didn't occur to me that there would actually be a lot more intentionality about that from a vintage shop itself.
Yeah. we've always had like a really big belief on there needs to be something for the mom who walks in and, just needs her average outfit running around, but doesn't want to buy something brand new. And a lot of times there is brand new items in our store because we do get dead stock from other companies, to her daughter who wants some back to school clothes, to, the young professional male who's just, needs a new suit and he doesn't want to afford it. So it's, our client has always been the person who is economical but creative and wants to be up to date on style. In the past, we also had luxury businesses where we sold, everything from Rolexes to Birkins, all the Hermes you can imagine. And while those items still hold a large ticket, there was always a lot of negotiation. So we've always been creative with, making our clients' dreams come true, whether it's layaway or financing it or having them trade their closet towards something. But every piece has a story, and I'm a big history buff, and I also went to art school. So for me, it's always like, what's the deal with this, this garment and this item, and like, what are you going to do with it? Because clothes are more than just clothes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So shopping secondhand has really exploded in popularity over the last 10 to 15 years. Mm-hmm. And actually, and I think you basically kind of already touched on this in terms of like, so with your shop, it's like, first, some places are more focused on getting those bargains and everything else. And other places basically kind of focus on, but it sounds like you've kind of figured out a way to kind of like intertwine that and actually like, and like you said, have something to offer for a wide range of people. Speaking of kind of like secondhand shopping, because I'm one of those people, I will go into a secondhand store and with the exception of like accessories and everything else, I'll just be like, what? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It can be overwhelming. We have spent a lot of time curating, and we have done many trial and errors from, do we color code? Do we put it in themes? Do we put it by designer? And as soon as my ADD unravels, then I come up with a new theme and revamp that. It's never been a dull moment where someone sees me working in the store at midnight and they're like, I saw you in there after hours. I was like, yeah, I was moving the furniture around to give it a new, feng shui or vibe. There are some vintage shops and high-end consignment stores that, all they do is t-shirts, or all they do is jerseys, or, they specialize in just cheap and affordable for certain demographics of people, and they want to just get people in clothes. We want to make sure that there is a stylish component and an affordable component. In our past stores, we specialized in a lot of just designer, and we would have to reject certain things. Mm-hmm. And we were constantly looking at each other and saying like, but we're turning away a good item, but it's a $5 item. And that's how we came to open up this store, is that we kind of originally treated it like our outlet because we didn't want to turn away things. And then we realized that this price point and this neighborhood and market was just better for us. So we stuck with it. And the landlord has been great. They've been treating us like family, and they really worked with us during COVID. So we're very fortunate about that, as a lot of businesses didn't. And a lot of landlords are now still hurting because they didn't work with their tenant.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, I know I will say this because I was in the shop recently. And again, as someone who does find it challenging to shop like in secondhand, because I don't know. There's something about like my brain just kind of shuts off and it's like, we don't know what we're doing here. Mm-hmm. The color coding was actually like that you have currently, or at least as of this interview, was really, really nice to me. Cause I'm like, oh, okay. So here's red items. Let me see what the red items are. Here's some purple items. Let me look at it. Oh, here's some black and white ones and everything else. I actually found that system to be very useful to kind of see what the color coding. I mean, I can understand, arranging by dresses or arranging by pants or things like that over, but there was something really nice about, okay, there's different things here in different colors. So I know that there's going to be a variety. My brain would know, oh, there's a variety of things here, but I know that they're at least going to be with this color thing, because sometimes a lot of times when it comes to like matching outfits and everything else, one of the things that I oftentimes think about primarily is actually colors. Is this color something that I can make work with other things that I have? So.
And most people have a theme or, a style, even if they haven't actually identified it. I'm a t-shirt and jeans girl. And everyone knows that. And they're like, you're in fashion. But I'm like, I don't mess around when it comes to diamonds and accessories. But, I was raised with a mom who loved TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Salvation Army. She was a creative junkie and like always was looking for a deal or something she was making. So she taught me how to like, always go to the sale rack first or go to the back or ask the sales reps, this is what I'm looking for. So we've really worked hard with our staff over the last 15 years, the ones have come and gone and all things in between. Identify what they're wearing. Hey, it looks like you love Issey Miyake, you love black, you love things that are avant-garde. Here is one piece in the store that is like that. Just get them to one part of the store so that they can say, okay, there is something here and worth my time to dig for. Or ask them, do you have an event coming up? What is it that brought you in here today? So that they don't feel overwhelmed and they have a starting point. And for other people, like I said, they just like, I only wear black. I'm going to that section, negate the rest, and then they don't feel overwhelmed. But usually a couple of quick questions will help like the staff tell you like, don't waste your time on this side. Here's your market. Here's your area, and go for it.
Yeah, because I know for me stylistically, it's like I'm always gonna gravitate towards my neutrals because neutrals I know that I can just kind of work with everything. And then when I do go on to color, oftentimes I really, really love my jewel tones and stuff because because they look rich and you can use them pretty much at any time of year. But when it comes to purple and yellow, I love a purple and yellow. I love a pop of purple. So those things, it's like, those sorts of things. So yeah, so that's why I was saying like the color coded system right now works very well for yours.
No, I can totally see that. Never be scared of color. But yeah, it's been an interesting career. And I am always happy to spend 2 hours with somebody who's never going to buy something. But then when they come back, they bring a friend and that friend loves the store. So it's like, for me, it's always about the stories. And it's like you say, you love purple. I could have somebody come in and they're like, I need everything you have that is fringe. They don't even try it on. They'll just buy everything that is fringe. And they're collectors or they have like a weird, affinity with it. And I'm like, I can appreciate that.
And one of the things that's so funny too is that when you have a favorite color, you will inadvertently coordinate if you have it when you have enough in your wardrobe, you will inadvertently coordinate yourself. Because where was I? I think I went out to tea and I just decided, let me wear my purple fascinator. I forgot that I also had a purple scarf. And then there's some other item that I had that was purple. And so all these people on the street were just like, oh my gosh, don't you just like darling all coordinating? And I was like, oh, right.
Like you just acquire the pieces and you don't even think about it. It just kind of like goes together,
It was just what I got because my go-to scarf in the winter is this purple cashmere scarf that my mother-in-law got for me some years ago that I absolutely love because it's cozy, it's purple, and it feels wonderful, so I'm just, and it keeps me nice and warm. So I'm always wearing it. So that's just my go-to. And I just wasn't thinking about the rest of it, but yeah, no, this is why I love doing these interviews and stuff, because I think that I understand or know something about a business, but then I talk to the business owner and I'm like, wait, you do what? Or wait, this came as a result of this. So, well, like I recently interviewed a florist and I always thought like, oh, maybe this is part of her dream to go and do this, that. And she was like, yeah, no, I used to be a lawyer. And I just kind of fell into this. I'm like, wait, what?
Wow. Okay. Never know.
So that's the thing. So it's really kind of great to know because also too, I have like friends who love doing, the sorts of things that you're actually talking about. So it's always great to connect with people and understand it's like, okay, this is great. Like not only did I just have this wonderful interview with Elizabeth, but I'm like, I know some people I need to send her.
Exactly. And then we make these relationships with people and we're like, oh, go back to so-and-so. And it's really been nice. My husband has seen some of our, long-term customers. He has had some people for 30 years, literally 25, 30 years. And we've seen them get married, have kids. And then one of this one woman, her daughter ended up being an intern with us. So it was like a full circle thing.
Oh, wow.
And most recently, one of our very first employee who was 16 when we hired her, literally had to get a paper from her mom. She got married, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, I think. And she just had her first baby. When I say it was like a full circle experience, and like he's like a grandpa now because, you know, she really looks up to him as a mentor and as like a father figure. It has been like the highlight of our career is to have that, like, know our employees made such an impact on us and vice versa.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's like one of the benefits of being able to stay in place for a while and build those relationships and build that community. So actually, speaking of which, to kind of like wrap up the interview, seeing as how you have been here for so long, I take it that that means that that you have some favorite businesses, but in particular, kind of want to know, what are some of your favorite new kids on the block who have kind of recently gotten here that you can think of?
In Park Slope specifically?
Or even like, or nearby. Obviously, if it's like in Park Slope, then that'd be great. And when I say new kids on the block, really it's somebody who's been here for like less than 2 or 3 years. So not necessarily somebody who just opened up.
Oh God, there is a new Japanese supermarket on Fifth.
Yes.
It's between St. Mark's and
Midoriya. That was it.
Really good finds in there. I found some like little house tchotchkes. And I think that that's something very eclectic and like welcome in the neighborhood. My other favorite would be Park Chemist. I know that sounds crazy, but
they're a great little pharmacy.
They are hands down. I cannot go into CVS. Don't even get me started. I don't do the big box. I'll definitely go to Starbucks, but I can't do a big box pharmacy. The care and like touch, they know your name. I have now seen their manager get married and have a baby. And like, okay, if they're able to retain employees and they care for them, I want to give my business there, right? Yep. And that tells me a lot about it. And like, I'm not just waiting for a text that says like your prescription's ready, which they do send. But if I don't show up in 3 days and I'm like, oh my God,
yeah.
Their manager will like DM me on Instagram. She's like, Liz, where are you at? And I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there are so many protocols, obviously, and for good reason with medication. So-and-so can't pick up so-and-so stuff. They're so good about it. I'm like, I'm going to send one of my employees. They're going to pick it up for me. They are great. They really go above and beyond. And they also have like really, really good products in there that like, you're not going to find at CVS. And I don't want to go all the way to Sephora or, you know, some novelty shop in the city. And I really appreciate, like, sometimes the owner will tell me, or the pharmacist will tell me, like, I can get this at a better rate for you. Wait, or like, you should really consider the generic, or don't consider the generic. And he does do that one-on-one touch. So I do appreciate that. I know no one was expecting me to say pharmacy. It's like a critical component of life. So yeah. And you know, that was it.
It's those sorts of things, though, that make for a neighborhood, that make for a community and everything else. It's basically that local. It's not just that you get access to products, but you get access to, as you said, a certain level of care and consideration that you're not necessarily going to, you know, and it's like, you know, yes, I know that there are definitely pharmacists who work at chain pharmacies who they have been there for years, literally have like 2 or 3 friends who are like in the situation where they've been in the same pharmacy for years and years and years. And, you know, and they're great, but you can't necessarily expect that elsewhere. And you oftentimes don't get that, you know, like on a consistent basis and stuff. So yeah, so those sorts of things like really matter. So, so thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me this afternoon. It's always great to, I love mixing it up with, like I said, some of the new kids on the block, but also speaking to the people who they've been here for a minute, you know, still going and still doing their thing and have really, you know, are one of, because once upon a time, you were the new kid on the block. Right. And you kind of came in, but you've so far contributed to the whole feel of what the neighborhood is like for like the last 10 years and stuff. So, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak.
Appreciate it.
If you can give folks your Instagram handle, because the video is going to have captions. So I'll be able to spell it out in the captions.
It's Slope Vintage, SLOPE VINTAGE. We are open 7 days a week, 11 to 7.
And the address, the physical address, please.
71 Fifth Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, Park Slope, about 3.5 blocks from Barclays Center. Any train.
Yep. So you can hop on there. So so fashion peoples, like get over there because there's some good goods. All right. Thanks again so much, Liz. It has been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, folks, for tuning into this edition of Shop Talk Park Slope. I will see you again at the next one. Bye.
Bye.